You gotta
community
do it
meeting, everybody.
right on the fucking dot, Mr. Man, or else you can't do it.
Please, just be quiet. We don't want to activate talk power here. If you are a member, you are allowed to leave. Staff, you gotta stay. But I do hope everyone's safe, and we're gonna get this meeting kicked off with D-Hoff. You got a PTS.
Get the fuck home.
I feel sad.
Mr. Man.
Alright, we're ready, let's go.
Make sure you're in a big channel with people.
Not LFS.
Boom, boom.
If you have none of those, you go to the highest officer. It's very annoying for me. Oh, he's back. What do you got to say,
I'm
Mr.
back.
D-Hoff?
Okay, they haven't said anything yet. We're going to be everyone. I know y'all have suggestions up and all that other shit, but for right now, we're gonna be stopping suggestions because we need other shit that we gotta fix.
With the
Okay,
exception of
wait.
policy or rule suggestions.
Let me explain that a little bit better, more PR appropriate. Look, guys. Look, there's a ton of things, reasons why we want to move to more compiling the updates. One is, guys, we've been pushing out. Well, I say we. Dan and Danny have been pushing out probably like 20 updates over the last month and a half. That's crazy amounts. So you don't even notice the updates happening in the background. So overall, the community doesn't really get that much of a wow factor. You just log into the server and be like, hey, there's something new here. Let's just go ahead and mess around with it. For example, the what was it, Starship Trooper aliens that were added. It's one of those things where I got on and I'm like, oh, cool, this is added. I can actually start doing events with it. So instead of like just jump on, something happens, we're actually going to do announcements and updates, the update logs, and make sure those are up to par with everything, just so you know exactly what is new and added when you get on. I know that has been done in the past, but we're going to hopefully organize it a little bit more overall. And that's one of the reasons why we are moving back to like 2-3 weeks before an update happens, just so it can be compiled more and be a little bit more open and knowing what you're getting into. Right now, the reason why we are stopping the suggestions is just simply so we can make sure that everything on the server is running decent, easy on the FPS, and making sure that we don't get as much lag when we do major events. So we want to make sure that everything's secure, running smoothly before pushing forward with more updates. That's why we're putting a hold on it just right now. So keep that in mind. It's literally just a temporary thing. I want to make sure that we actually have a backup just in case if a big error does happen. We can always have something to go back to. Last time I backed it up was only 2 weeks ago, but still I like doing at least one backup a month. And with all the new add-ons being added on in the past 2-3 weeks, it's time to make sure we get that necessary backup just in case. So keep that in mind as well, guys. Yeah, I mean, still pushing forward. The server seems to be running great. I've been monitoring the usage. It does pop up a little bit at events, but don't worry too much about that. More rely on your FPS to tell you exactly how the server's pinging if you are a game master. I suggest not spawn in all your droids at once, kind of layer it out where you do it in sections, your events. So if you are, let's say, doing an event where people have to do recon, obviously set up the first area and then, move on to a farther area to set up your second amount of droids. Don't go in there and just blast all your droids right off the rip. That's gonna
Blow your load in one go.
exactly, because then you're gonna try to be setting up for that second part, and that second part might screw you over, not go the way you are. But as you game masters know, the best game masters are always ones that can think on their feet. Literally, if something you plan an event for weeks on end, literally plan an event for weeks on end, and if something goes wrong, what are you going to do at that point? You might have to change up the whole event right then and there. So just keep that in mind, guys. So overall, we're just trying to, as Chris said, operate or optimize the server, make sure everything's running for everybody, make sure we got a good gaming experience, because to be honest, I'm sure no one here wants lag. And that's one of the main reasons why we are actually pushing back the updates and sure that everything is up. Why we have to push back. So, with that being said, I don't know how far have y'all got into this meeting. I just jumped in the middle of
We
it.
just started.
Yep.
All right. Well, then I could start my PTS. All right, guys. So, most of you in this channel know we overall as a community we always try to hear out the as much as possible, but everybody in this channel knows that it's impossible to make everybody happy. Overall is just trying to build that relationship with everybody in the community. More so, the reason why this community was built was literally to build friendships between people. I want you guys to play games with one another, like different games other than just Gary's mod from time to time, and actually explore the person's personality, so to speak. Like try to interact with them as you would with other friends in real life. I mean, don't get me wrong, don't give away personal information. If you do, that's all up to you personally. I'm not getting involved in that. But try to really sprout out and make some good friends here, because you never know what these acquaintances turn into in the future. I mean, there's throughout my years of gaming, I've actually met and interacted with a few people that I've played games with over the year. Mind you, the people that I've met up with 7 or 8 years, I've known them gaming with them. So it's one of those things. I want you to build friendships more so off of this community and just get to know one another. That being said, when we get somebody newer joining the server, guys, please, just don't be binging around. All right. D Hoff, I'm gonna ask you personally later on, go over with you on all of this stuff. D Hoff has been cracking down on you guys a lot when he came back, but that's the reason why he's in that position. Basically, the hammer of the community. I've known a lot of people have been a little bit upset when things happen, but take it easy. Try to put your best foot forward with it. I mean, I don't want this to turn into a high school drama like other elbows, but I don't want it to turn into like that. Well, we got to be a lot more laid back. When I say that, not constantly pestering people about little things. Right now, as the world are going through a major virus, and most people within gaming community right now, yeah, they're on all the time, but they also have external features that are compromising their mood actions on most servers, and not to mention being locked down in your house, as most of us are, for what, about a month and a half now, you start to get a little bit of cabin fever. Relying on rely on other people to give you emotions that are generated, obviously gaming. Keep that in mind when you're on the server. We're all here to have fun. Literally. We log into the server to have fun, to interact with people, and basically just hang out. You don't want to be scrutinized by those external interactions, whether it be with you're playing a different game and a staff member messages you and asks you where you are, like why aren't you on the server? That shouldn't really be happening, because we want it to be more of an organic thing. Don't get me wrong, if you're gone for like a month and no one's seen you, I'm gonna have to have somebody check in with you. Quite simply because we need to make sure you're still alive and make sure that you're still kicking over there. So just know that I want to make sure that this is running as more of a family type community. I want all of you to sort of know each other. Of course, you're going to have your differences. Every does. But best thing is just try differences.
You're cutting 10.
Take every day with a new grain of salt. Sorry. I'm gonna pick that PTS up a little bit later. Go ahead and take over.
Guys, you keep going from where y'all were. I forgot
Yep.
what I was thinking.
What?
Ah, I didn't even get my PTS yet.
God damn it.
On the suggestion thing, to interrupt you, I'm gonna squeeze in here. Feel free to put rule suggestions up, guys, or like policy suggestions up. Anything that doesn't require like content change, feel free to do that. Yes, regular suggestions. Any suggestions that meet
Bottom
the
line,
criteria?
if it doesn't involve adding content to the server, you can suggest it.
Any suggestions that meet the normal criteria, which has always been 2 in either direction, which is how we've been putting them on forms for the meeting, is going to be put on hold until a further date. So, yep. You good, Mr. Man? You got everything out? Alright, so guys, I think we had a good week. Start of the week to middle of the week in terms of event quality and quantity. I think for today and yesterday especially, there were some great events. I've gotten some people coming to me with specific names too about events. I know I got one specific event regarding yesterday where there was a lot of medic roleplay going on. Really good stuff. But today and yesterday, guys, Game Masters, you guys do stimulate the server. When people get on, they usually get on to either hang out with people or do events. Myself and Dan, specifically yesterday, were working on our respective events for a couple hours, so we weren't able to host them. But as soon as we started hosting events, the server went from 0 to 10 real fast, and then to 20 and above. So Game Masters, please, whenever you have the time and you got a really good event idea, go ahead and do them, because people do enjoy just to shoot at stuff sometimes as well. So yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. I think DI times could be a lot better. I mean, come on, staff. There was a cadet running around for, I'm told, 10-15 minutes today, and nobody noticed it. I tabbed back in game and I saw him adverting. So be on that next time. Chris, you got a PTS.
Alright, this is just a quick PTS. Something I want to bring up, and I don't know, Kaiju said it's fine that I bring this up, but to help the development team more, I'm gonna ask if you guys, when you're making a bug report, can you put it on the forums for us, just so it's a little bit easier and organized for us, so we know where it's all at and stuff. I know, Dan, I didn't talk to you about this earlier, but it's just
Just keep
Discord-
going.
Discord is a lot easier, but as I told Kaiju, it will help us be more organized and be able to prioritize better with what bugs are there, and we can on track with it, so we don't have to worry. That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
All right, Dan, do you have a PTS?
Basically, all I want to say is I'm going to be working on removing stuff we're not using. Like, for example, we still have the null squad models in the server for no reason. That's taking up space, so they're going to be removed along with a bunch of other things. That's all.
And you
Excellent.
will get an update log on what is being removed. And if you want to, talk about it a little bit more in depth, you can feel free to message one of us.
All right. Head admins, do you have a PTS? Oh, Hex. Shit, my bad. I didn't see there.
You're muted.
He's not
Or
muted.
you're
He's just
shaking.
yeah. His thing's flipping up.
Echo.
Okay, since Hex is having problems, Guy, you have a PTS for Rust.
Yes, I do. Rust actually did pretty well this week. We tripled our numbers from the previous week. We went from 5 total on during the week to 17. So it's slowly improving, and I expect that in the next couple months it will probably grow exponentially. But just any of my Rust peoples, just keep getting on playing, doing what you got to do.
Great things take time, guys. I'm sure all of you know. I mean, our Gary's Mod community has been around for a year or over a year now, and we've had our ups and downs, but we always come back. That's the main point over it all. So,
All right. Hex.
Hex, fix your shit.
I'm gonna mute him for now. All right. So, do any HAs have anything to say?
All I
That
can
was hot.
say, I don't appreciate that in my Teamspeak. Anyways, I was actually gonna yell at everyone for DI, but Kaiju already did it. So that's about that. There were some great events this week. Again, the men RP with the one that Zordon did. I don't think he's in here, but that was absolutely great work if you were there for that. Just take some notes. Game Masters, remember that you need to be adaptive to scenarios during the events. This week was a lot better than the week prior, but it's still an occasional problem. Just remember, adjust. People will like it more. That's all I got to say. I'm going to pass it on to Bushido. Popcorn Bushido.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Everything's been said.
Popcorn woke.
all right.
Hey, Mr. Man, when you told when you were talking to Grendo, was that an order from the communication manager? All right, sorry, Tennessee. I just had to squeeze that joke in.
Okay, let's
All
keep
right.
this going. before I
Yeah,
kill
guys,
people.
back to the DI stuff. I mean, that's literally the lifeblood of the community. We need to make sure people are trained. We're hopefully going to be rolling out some new stuff with that. Next week and the week after, I'm going to be taking a more hands-on approach with upper server, like head admins and server directors. There's going to be a lot of minor changes made along to make sure that I know that it's running a little bit more efficiently than what I've previously seen, just so I can, handle those situations and make sure that if I need to see some documentation, it's relatively presented. So that means I'm going to be talking to a few of the people throughout the community at different times next week. So just be prepared for that. If I just join your channel and be like, hey, can I pull you for a second? It's more than likely something about documentation that you submitted or documentation that you have been in charge of updating. So I just want to make sure that is on par so we can get ready for what we're going to do this summer. I mean, we need to make sure that people are part of certain battalions, etc. Anyways, the overall factor of this community literally friendships, guys. So just keep pushing forward, keep having fun, and I don't think we have any other PTSs. We already went over development. Suggestions are being held back. Do you guys have any promotions this week?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. It's not I. I talked to Bushido. All right. Um, see here, we have Wolfez. You're moving up to senior mod, and as well with Desix, you both are moving up. So yeah, that's all I
Alright.
got.
And with that being said, guys, don't get discouraged. If you're wondering why you might not have been promoted or what you can do to be promoted, simply go to one of the head admins and be like, hey, what can I work on? Mind you, the head admins might be brutally honest with you, and it's to be such called for. We are trying to help each other grow in this whatever walks of life you might encounter. So just keep that in mind. I expect the head admins or whoever you might be going to talk to be brutally honest. Like, hey, you do this, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't think of you this. So that in mind, please, if you're concerned about it, go to head admin plus, and we'll sit down and talk to you and actually try to work with you and hopefully be able to get you where it's a little bit more pre-R friendly and show you exactly what you need to do.
Guys, promo time.
Yep.
I only have one promo this week based off of activity. I'm going to be promoting Bingus, who's currently not here. He's doing something, but I'll take care of him. So congrats to Bingus. He got
He's
admin.
here.
Oh, is he? Where's he
Yep.
at? Oh, he is.
Somewhere in here.
Oh, yeah, there he is. There he is. All right. Congrats, Bingus. You're going up to admin.
Not this guy again.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, do we have any like community PTS? Anybody want to say anything before we dismiss?
We got a suggestion.
Yeah.
A rule suggestion.
Okay. Yeah. No, we can affect rule suggestions.
All right, boyos. One suggestion: clearance levels for Clone Wars. They're honestly, I'm gonna estimate there's gonna be about 5 to 6 clearance levels if we do it. But just vote on it, and yep, there you go. I'm gonna put it up in the community voting area, and it'll be assessed on Sunday. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Right. Guys, just to add on to that though, rule suggestions, they go through a lot faster, obviously. I mean, I still want to do a community voting, but as soon as Sunday comes around, we can go ahead and update that rule for you. Only thing that's being halted as of right now is like server suggestions, the big one. So keep that in mind. If you see something on the rules that you think might needs to be changed to adapt to the community and where we're trying to get to, please feel free to do that. See what the community has to come back, and then we can make that change. This is our community, guys. Like, if you see something wrong, please point it out. I know most people might joke around and be like, "Oh, that's obvious." Well, if it was obvious, we probably should have fixed it. Right. Well, is there any? I mean, that rule is pretty self-explanatory. Do we have any PTSs throughout the community? That space.
We don't want to hear you talk, though, Space.
There you go.
Fuck you, I just want to say this is mainly, people are taking part in events. Just when when people do events, can you just not be dicks, not try and ruin an event, not minge, and actually have fun doing the event, and also not make the game master a really hard job. Yes, we're supposed to adapt, but it doesn't mean you have to make them adapt. You should at least follow the event and also not minge and take it somewhat serious. You don't have to be like serious and all that shit. Just don't run around shooting the other people, killing other people, and just glitching and just messing the whole event up or doing shit like that. Just try and at least do the event.
All right, Guy, go ahead, bud.
I just wanted to say, everybody's been doing a good job on both servers. Keep up the good work. It takes a community to build something like this, and we all have to stay strong. Also, we need to change this room to the community meeting room. Just saying.
Yeah. No, we will get there eventually. I mean, obviously, I want to see more growth from the Rust server before we start actually branching out with like Rust community rooms and actually separating the meetings. because eventually when we get to that point, I'm sure the guys here that only play Rust don't want to hear about the Gary's Mod stuff, and the guys that only play Gary's Mod don't want to hear about the Rust stuff. So with that in mind, for the next couple of weeks, yeah, we're going to keep the meeting together, just simply because I want everybody to hear everything about what's happening with this community. And then after that, we plan on doing like a 2 program, and then everybody just go to the main meeting room after that, just to give overall community stuff instead of just server.
Gotcha.
Great stuff. So eventually we plan to get there, but I want to see that actual communities to get dedicated to each server start forming around it a little bit. Yeah, we do need more. I always love PV, but a little bit difficult setting up those events properly. I mean, guys, I've honestly thought about making half the server event jobs one time, and if any of you admins are in here, you do that. Make half the server event jobs and the other half not. But don't set the event jobs' health that high. Try to set all their healths a little bit lower, because if you're doing like a 1v1 thing, it's yeah. Anyways, any more PTSs? Last call.
Greedo shot first.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, I am going to be here on Teamspeak most of the weekend, but I'm not going to be able to be on the server. I have a hackathon actually taking place at 9 a.m. tomorrow, going all the way to 5 p.m. on Saturday. I'm going to dedicate the next like couple of hours looking into the software and seeing what all they have set up over there. If you really need something, feel free to join the room, but make sure it's important. But if you don't think it's that important and can be answered by any other staff member, please go to them first. Let's have another great week, guys. One last thing for me, if somebody could do like 3 capture the flag scenarios, try to set up a capture a flag event on the Gary's Mod server, so show a little bit of support to me, because this is the first time I've ever done this, and I think it's going to be a great experience, but I plan on signing up for it next year as well. So, yep, thank you all guys for showing up at the meeting, and I'll talk to you later on throughout the week. Peace.